Grant Lee Buffalo Bill this evening. Let's talk first of all, if we can, about the sugar cubes. We'll get that subject out of the way first of all.
Okay.
I mean, how do you sort of look back at that period?
Well, the best thing about Sugar Cubes was it was not a full-time band, and we never made any sort of long-time period plans. So we always did just one record, and then we all went off to do whatever we're doing. And then we maybe a year later we did another one. In a way, that's still the situation.
So there's a chance that you might go back and do more stuff?
Yeah,
together.
I mean, after the first album, we all said to each other, oh, we'll never do this again. It was great fun, but, you know, and now we've done 3, so I'm just not saying anything anymore. I'm just saying it might not, you know, we don't know.
Well, let's talk about this album, because you initially started recording this one yourself, didn't you? Did you have like a definite sort of goal when you started, a definite sound that you wanted to achieve with Debut?
Sort of, you know, I wanted to be all sort of things, like harps and saxophones and techno beats and kind of like no style would sort of limit what I wanted to do. So kind of more focus on the songs, and each song would just get whatever he needed. It didn't matter what it would be.
Right. I mean, after you did start, you brought in Nelly Hooper, who we know for his work through Soul to Soul.
Yeah.
I mean, that was probably, you know, I guess as far as your fans of the Sugar Cubes were concerned, a bit of an unusual choice. I mean, how did that come about?
Well, I didn't intend to get a producer or anything. I was just going to do my little album quietly in the corner sort of thing, you know. It's a bit of a private one. And then, you know, I kind of got to know him through friends, and we were hanging out a lot together, and it just ended up that after getting to know him, something sort of, you know, sort of magical was going on. We kept sending each other cassettes, and it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like 1 + 1 is 3 kind of situation, you know? But then again, I like, my target with this whole album was to break down all these stupid barriers, like, you've got jazz people here that eat jazz food and talk jazz language, and they go to jazz places and live a jazz life, and they've got the rock and rollers, and they do this and that, and then they've got the classical people who do like this and this and this. But, you know, on this album it's like a harp player, like jazz saxophone players, and, you know, all these different people, and Indian string section that was recorded in Bombay, and then like me and like Nelly, who are probably the two sort of main characters on the album. It's like all of them were like delighted to be able to not do something in their category, kind of like sneak outside that.
Let's talk about Corky Howe, who's somebody who's played on the album. Now, she's a 60-year-old harp player who's played with legends like Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald as well. How did you get her involved in the album, and what was she like to work with? I mean, there's a story behind this, I understand, so I've asked this one.
Well, she was the first one I contacted, you know, and that was like 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. And I just found out there was this lady in Los Angeles who played jazz and harp in a very violent manner.
In a violent manner?
Yeah, not like this angel stuff, you know. She kind of sits on a roof, skyscraper, and watches the city with all the helicopters and all the gangsters following each other, and plays her harp and sweats really hardcore and stumps and sort of bit sort of Jimi Hendrix vibe, you know. So I, of course, you know, was completely attracted by that and met her. And first we were going to do my songs, but she didn't really get them, you know, which is kind of fair enough. You know, there's a bit of a generation gap going on there. So we kind of ended up meeting up in the middle. So we kind of recorded the only cover version that's on the song, which is like Someone in Love, you know. It's so much fun. It was a bit of an excuse just to be able to meet her, do you know what I mean? It's like one of those characters you only meet once in your life, you know.